Everybody, I know this might be loud and everything, but I've tried to do my lessons sitting down at the table with computer and notes and everything, and I found that to be a very hard thing to do because of how I work, when I work, whether I'm home or at work. Time does not permit. I mean, the space that I need to be in, the sounds that I need, I can't get it. The only time I'm able to get it is when everybody's asleep, either at work asleep or at home asleep. And then that doesn't work out either, because then I feel that I'm too loud and I may wake somebody. Like, I definitely can't wake my clients, and I don't want to wake nobody at home. So I'm doing this here ride thing that I see everybody else doing, and boy, that's a hard thing. So I commend everybody who is doing that. But now, I'm Edmund Johnson. My website is Can't Be Quiet, and I'm here on YouTube. So if you like what I'm talking about and you'd like to see more, hit the like button at the bottom. Subscribe if you'd like to hear other messages that I may have. Again, this is all going to be choppy and everything because I'm driving and I don't know what I'm doing. This is my first video here, other than the intro. I want to talk about spiritual understanding. And spiritual understanding is a oneness with God. It's where you're able to hear His thoughts, understand His thoughts. And a lot of what I'm going to say, I already know there's going to be a lot of people that disagree. And I like that. I like that because everybody has their own opinions of how they think things should be or how they think things are, when it really ain't so. I mean, we have our own opinions and we can state those opinions, but what God intends for us to have and do is what it is. It's not an opinion. It's exactly what He wants for us. So, spiritual understanding is what one needs in order to understand God, to really hear God, to where you're holding that conversation with God like those who walked with Him did. Walked with Him, held a conversation, wasn't waiting days to get answers. They was walking right there with Him. They got the answers right then and there. They held a conversation. So, even in the disciples, they were asked, who does man think that Jesus is? And everybody gave their opinions as to who they thought He were. And He asked Peter, who do you say that I am? And Peter told him that you're the Son of God. I mean, the Son of Man, you're the Christ, the Son of Man. And He told him that the only way that he could know that is that he got it from His Father, which is in heaven. So, he was in a oneness with God in order to receive that from God. And not man's own opinion. It was what it was. So, everything that we can do in God, we can do it as long as we understand what it is He wants us to do. And not us going out and doing what we want to do. I mean, we want to lay hands and everything when I'm going to say we know. You know that you don't really have that power. You're there praying and asking and begging and pleading, just like everybody else who's doing that prayer. But that ain't the way it's supposed to be. Not begging and pleading. When you go, you're operating in the authority of God. You are doing everything He told you that you can do. And you're doing it and knowing that it can be done. Not guessing, not hoping. When you lay hands on the sick to heal them, they will be healed because of your understanding. And in that understanding, you're understanding that this is what God wants you to do. So therefore, you cannot go and lay hands on somebody and heal them if that's not what God wants. And you might say, well, why God don't want you to be healed? Everything happens for a reason. And some people are allowed to suffer and go through things because it's going to glorify God in the end. It may not be nothing that you want to go through. You may be like, well, God, why I have to go through this? Why I got to go through this? All this hardship in order for you to get some glory. He ain't going to put no more on you than you can bear. You done heard that a million times. He ain't going to put no more on you than you can bear. But the glory is for him. You are for him. And when you understand that, when you really understand that, then whatever it is that God asks you to do, you're going to do it because it is for him. I mean, one was asked to sacrifice their son, to kill him, to kill your own son. As much as he had in his heart and heard it and felt towards it, he still went to carry it out until Lamb was presented to him. He would have carried it out. That is because of his understanding with God. He talked with God. He didn't guess. He didn't speculate. He did not create a conversation to tell everybody else that this is what God said. So he had an understanding. A lot of what he asked for and consulted God with was done. You know, God has told people not to pray for people, for certain people. So things that's happening bad doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad. It's God's will. And until you understand that will you understand why it had to happen. I mean, everything that happens is not for you or not for a particular somebody. It may be for somebody else. What's happening to that particular person may not be for that person. But because it is happening to them, they're covered. When you're worried about them and they're not even worried themselves, and they're telling you everything's all right, but you praying and probably cussing God and wondering why, Lord, you're questioning him when you need to get to know him. Stop believing in him and get to know him. When you get to know him, you don't have to believe in him no more. Because you know him. You know what he's capable of doing, what he will do, what he's going to do, and what he's going to allow you to do. I mean, even Jesus told his disciples that there's a lot that I have to tell you. But if I tell you right now, you ain't going to understand it. Not until you get to know him will you understand it. You know, we had disciples walking with Christ, and that's where they were, disciples. Students. They walked with Christ, and there were even works that they could not do because they weren't prepared to do. And even Christ came to them and said, oh, you have little faith. You know, once it was brought to his attention that these are your disciples and they can't even do the job. See, so what you do for God, the fruit has to show. You're representing him. Now, there are some who's going to represent him, and we know if you know a little bit about the Bible, if you done been to church or passed by a church, you should know. You should know somewhere in there that there were people who done works in God's name, but God didn't know that. So, I'm going to end this right here. I know it's short, but hey, I'm going to try to continue this again. And if I get this editing software, I can edit this and have it looking right, sounding right. Forgive me. Y'all have a blessed day. Thank you for listening.